Hi, I'm Skylar Perry, and this is my personal narrative speech on the river, one of my favorite childhood places. And here's my audience. Ever since I was a little kid, me and one of my family's favorite places to go was the river. The first time I ever went there, I was only 3 months old, and my grandparents and my mom took me to the river for a crochet tournament. And for those of you who aren't familiar what crochet is, it's a sport that one of our mutual friends invented. His name is Vern Peterson, and it's a combination between horseshoes and croquet. And so, yeah, we've just been playing games of that for a long time and just enjoying each other's company. And we know Vern Peterson as the mayor of Zanzibar and the inventor of crochet, and he was always the person who hosted the crochet events and the tournaments and people that we kind of knew as the father of the river family, I guess. And he kind of brought us all together and gave us our different nicknames, and we just kind of thought of him as one of the first river rats. And part of his inspiration was from his dad. He was on the river a long time, and Vern actually inherited some of his boats from his dad and was on the river 40 or more years and just, kept the tradition alive. His dad was known as OT, or old timer, and eventually Vern started to become that a little bit, I guess, too, because the older he got, the more people would start to come out as families got larger, and more friends were invited out to come to these crochet events. And some of them were just little gatherings where it was just some of the core people, maybe 6 or 8, so just a couple teams. And then some years it got to as big as having the Walrus and a bar sponsor it and come out to a sandbar and just have lots of people out there, and just thousands of boats all the way to just a couple boats. And it's cool to see the big variety of turnouts you can have, and just the different summers that we'll have in Bismarck. Sometimes we're going to the river every day because it's so hot out, and then in the years where we're a little less fortunate and maybe have the flood, we're not as concentrated on having fun, and we're helping our friends out do sandbagging and build dikes, and maybe hanging out at the lake instead of having our recreation at the river. But either way, throughout the years, it's always been a good meeting place and just a good place for relaxation and just a destination overall for good times and just something to always be remembered. There's always lots of wonderful things to see at the river, lots of different wildlife. I mean, there's always fishing to be had there, and other animals besides that. I know that one summer that one of my dogs got into a little tussle with an animal, and it was getting dark out. We were having a campfire, and we heard some noise coming from about 20 or 30 feet up the bank, and our dog was getting into a fight with a beaver. And well, long story short, usually you see beavers with big teeth and chomping down trees, and you'd think of them as a pretty vicious animal, but our dog ended up coming out victorious, and no real injuries to her, so that was good for everybody. And these are just some of my thoughts on the river. Thank you guys for being a good audience. Have a great night.